Hello. Hello out there. All right, this is a Saturday morning body rolling class from KLC's Kitchen Studios. I'm here. I'm going to have to keep adjusting this camera. I'm going to try and just stick to one silver ball and one most of these routines, so that for those of you that may be limited equipment on there. I don't think I'm taking requests right now. I haven't gotten that far in this production, but that's going to be next week. I'm going to be going on a new platform. So anyway, a couple of kitchen chairs would be a great setup for what we're going to do today. And we're going to do some chest and leg work on there. And I'm going to adjust my camera a little bit here. Okay. And hold on one moment. We get a little background noise turned off, and hopefully my cat doesn't join us for this class today, but we'll see how that goes. Set a kitchen chair up close by so that you can, let's actually put it in front at the end of your yoga mat on there so that you can do a little stabilizing with your feet on there. And I'm going to start with this ball underneath my right sit bone. Got one black ball here. And we're going to start with a little circle around that sit bone on there. Locate it, feel that ball underneath you, and then work your pelvis in the opposite direction on there. Do one last pass and pin down something that just talks a little louder on there as you go over it on there. Sink down into it on there. Let's begin with two things. You're going to reach and tip your spine to the left, going away from the ball. And then you're going to let your right knee fall away, and let's rest the right hand on that knee. Separate in a couple of directions on there, pressing down with your fingertips, releasing, lengthening all the way to the top of your head. Now we're going to lift up with that knee just a little bit, create resistance between your hand and the knee, and somewhere in the pelvis, low back area, you're going to feel kind of an engagement, a tug, a pull, and look for the burn in there. Look for just a little bit of sinking in, burning, pulling as you tip, and let's release. Go back to a circle, other direction, and you're gonna extend that right leg out in front of you just a little bit, but you're not gonna move your foot. So right here, the heel is gonna stay stable. Your torso tips forward so that your weight is out in front, and we're going to straighten the leg. The knee comes down, your toes roll back, and your heel grips the floor on there. Just a little side to side movement on there. Feel that sits bone is now behind the ball on there. Use your torso to keep the center of gravity out in front over your leg. It'll make it easier to move. See how slow you can go with this search on there. Widen your hands if you need more support, or you can actually lean out and create extra stretch at your shoulders and your arms. Feel yourself go all the way to the outside of your leg. Let's hang out there for just a moment. Pull those toes back. Feel your quadricep engage on there. And then we're going to take your hands, we're going to reach all the way over to the right-hand side, press down into the floor, roll your so that the pinky side of your foot lands on the floor. We're going to extend, try and lift and straighten and stretch that shoulder up in the air. And then sit up. Bring your sits bone right behind that ball one more time. We're going to go back and forth across that same hamstring group. It should feel a little soft on the outside. And then we're going to move the ball to the inside of the pelvis on here. It's going to actually come in contact. You should be able to roll to the under structure of your pelvis and then walk your leg out to the side on here. So we're going to bring this black ball into play. So as you bring that leg out to the side, you're going to start to feel a nice stretch coming down the inside of your leg on there. Take one or two hands and place them where you feel the most stretch and pull on there. I want you to hold it with your fingers. Feel it first with no fingers on there. It's a sensation that's appearing in your brain, but it's telling you about a location in your body. You're going to go touch the musculature there. And there's going to be two different stuck bits on there. Two different places that you've chosen. One in the lower leg, one in the upper leg on there. And I want you to feel, now we're going to point and flex at your ankle. Point and flex and feel the musculature, feel those stuck spots on there. I want you to stop somewhere where you get a really nice burn. Really, really nice burn. And just hang out for about 3 breaths. I want you to use your fingertips, push gently away, turn your rib cage up and to the left, away from the ball. Like you're going to slide your whole leg out from underneath your body, turn the ribs slightly. All right, breathe and relax. Back to that little left to right, side to side motion. Now, we're going to back it up just a little bit. That ball is rolling closer to your knee on there. And we're going to take the black ball as you lean forward. I want you to listen for a tight spot. We're going to slip this underneath the lower leg somewhere. Pop it underneath it. You can hang on to your lower leg for stability with one hand, 2 hands. You can stabilize the ball from underneath. And I want you to start doing a few ankle circles right there. Slow and easy. And I want you to pay attention as you take your foot through that circle. Listen to that line that you were just holding on to with your fingers before. I want you to notice that there's a point where as those toes reach on there, this line, you start to notice the same spot because you still have more scar tissue to kind of free. You still have more things to just adhere on there. Pause on one spot, just hold it there. And we're going to bring your hands to the floor. I want you to press the floor into the floor with both hands. Pull your pelvis, fold yourself as flat as you can. Draw those toes back. Couple deep breaths there. Feel it in your shoulders. Feel all the other places that are talking to you. All right, let's release. We're going to pull that black ball out. On there, let's bend your knee. Go back to just a couple more pelvic circles at the bottom of the sits bone. I'm going to switch position just a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. On there. And we're going to go up the back of the pelvis here. So we're back underneath the sits bones where we began. I want you to back it up one more time, just in front. Reach back with your right hand. Dig your fingers into that glute max muscle. Pull up. Pull up that whole muscle group and then bend your knee. Notice how my foot stays still. Bend your knee. Fingers are going to get stuck between your butt and the ball, and you're going to pull them out gently on there. And you'll be able to feel this push of muscle on there. Sink down just a little bit. Open up that space off to the side of the sacrum, and then we're going to use that black ball as a chalk stop on there. So as soon as you feel like you've got a nice grip into that piriformis muscle, that outer edge of your right sacrum, that triangle. Bring that black ball right underneath. I'm going to stop so you can do a nice circle and massage around both sides of the sits bone. Now we're looking for more information really at the base still, and then you're going to start a little search with your torso. Lean forward. Extend over that knee. Tip your head forward. Curl the chin down. Lengthen out of your right hip. On there. Now we're going to take your left hand and you're going to put it on the back of your head to give yourself a little neck resistance on here. So especially if you feel some pull, some achiness at the back of your head, stick those fingers right on the back of your skull where you feel it, because that musculature is connecting up there. Grip onto it. Press back with your head into those fingertips. Press back and extend, and then relax. Sink down. See if you can tip a little further forward. And one more time. Resist upwards with your head. Couple of breaths, and then we're going to release. Circle your pelvis. Directions one last time. See if you can dig down at the back of the coccyx. On there, and then we're going to remove that black ball, and we're going to continue up the spine. Both hands go on the ground. Roll up to the back of your hip and pelvis. On there, and we're just going to locate that pelvic crest. Roll the ball across the pelvic crest. On there. So this is a pretty wide area to search on there. You can feel where your spine and your sacrum come together. As you turn to the right, you're going to be able to ride out. See if you can take it all the way out to the outside edge. On there, and come back. And you're going to take it all the way down to your right elbow. One more time, out to the right hip. Now, let's make sure you have that black ball with you. Pick a spot somewhere on the outside of your hip and pelvis. On there. You're going to be hitting the outside of the pelvic wall, losing that pelvic crest because it goes up a little higher as you come across. On there. Pin something down that feels tight. You should be able to stabilize your shoulder here. And we're going to put a little prop underneath your leg, just above your knee on your IT band. On there. And now you're going to twist. I want you to pull the rib cage underneath. Pull it out from your right foot, from your right knee, from the ball. On there. Push down, stabilize, breathe. The ball and the floor. You want the muscles coming from the bottom of those fixed ribs all the way to the top of your pelvis. That's where you're opening up space. All right, we're going to come back around. We're going to leave that ball behind for just a second, all the way to the back of your pelvis. And then we're going to roll up until you feel the soft hammock of muscles where the pelvic bone structure stops. You sink into those floating ribs, and you're going to get a little pushback resistance from the fixed ribs up above. Sink down. You should be able to set your sits bone down on the ground, and we're going to do a big stretch into those low back muscles on there. Turn to the right on there. So as you push into the floor with your right hand, you're going to spread and spiral the muscles and all the rib structure going upwards on there. Your pelvis is going to stay stuck to the floor. Breathe into that, tip your head, reach it up, out, and away. And then we're going to add in one last point of resistance on there. Bring the knee and the IT band to rest gently, so you can rest both knees on top of each other. One big final twist on there. So your whole lower body is locked into the floor. Weight, friction, and gravity, and you are drawing your spine. Feel that pull. It's going to come up the front of your rib cage, close to the collarbone underneath. Think about pulling all of those upper ribs high Reversing gravity. Last breath. Sink it back down. Find those floating ribs. Now, it's safe to come into the tips here because you're going to spread the weight out over the fixed ribs up above, the pelvic crest down below. So you glide across those tips back towards the spine. And we're going to roll up a little bit more into the bottom of the fixed rib cage. So you should be able to do a nice circle on the flat section of those last 4 or so ribs. We're definitely below the shoulder blade corner. You're going to do a couple circles to make sure you're in the right spot. And you're looking for a strip of muscle alongside the spine. It's going to feel very thick. You want to kind of slide your angle into it on there. You're coming from the outer edges of the ribs in closer to the spine. You're going to pick up this big kind of resistance curl of muscle that the ball is going to run up against it on there. That's what you want to feel. When you get there, and your mat gets all rolled up on there, you're going to take your black ball and we're going to pop it right underneath, right above the trochanter on there, anywhere on the back of your hip. There's just going to be a nice pocket for it to fall into. If you back up anymore, it's just going to run into the top of the femur on there. And that's what we want to do on there. I want you to think about as you back up that you're scraping and pulling your leg out of your body. Roll it forward, go up higher into the rib cage, and then pattern down into the top of the hip and the pelvis. Come back up, and we're going to work a curved array on there. You look at the chair behind me on here. Think about going up and down from your pelvic crest back down to the top of the femur head on there. And you can tip all the way forward. But the one I'm interested in is as you pull with the arms on there, I want you to think about separating your leg. Let's make a pass that takes you all the way to the back on there. Rest so that the ball is off to the side of your sacrum. And then see if you can cross your right knee over your left knee on here. We're going to go back to that same exploratory search. Now, you could do this. You could hang on to a chair on there. I'm really liking working in my kitchen because you can open cupboard doors and hang on to the cross pieces and all of the framing in there. It works very easily to help stabilize you. You could do this in front of your couch on there. Pin down one last place where you feel those 2 spots talking to each other. Let's grab onto the knee with your left hand. Pull that knee over towards the center line of your body. Rib cage, breathe into that. And we're going to release. Bring your foot down to the floor. Pull the black ball out. And we're going to pivot around and find the bottom corner of your shoulder blade, but lying 90 degrees out on your hip on there. So as you go from front to back across the curve of your rib cage, we're going to stop as we hit the breast tissue nipple area on there. And we're going to go about 6 inches, depends on how far you move your arm around, to just passing under the shoulder blade on there. Pin thick piece of musculature that's really talking to you on there. Pin it down on there, and then you're going to look for somewhere on the back of your arm. So if you pick your arm up, move it around, look for something that starts to talk out near your elbow. Pin it at the up in the air position when it talks. Put the ball there onto your, again, find your lumpy chunky stuff. There's going to be something there. Set it down on the floor. Rest your head on your hand, and then let's bring the left hand out to the floor. So you're pressing down into the floor with the elbow, and you're pulling your rib cage behind you, separating from the elbow. Breathe, and then let's relax. Soften. rest on there. Move just a little bit, explore, pin down something else that's tight. Once again, squeeze down with the elbow, draw the ribs down and back behind you. Reach, breathe, and twist. And let it relax. All right, now we're gonna pick that elbow prop up, rotate until you can find the bottom corner of your shoulder blade in the back on there, and then we're gonna tuck it underneath your arm. So your arm is actually, it's kind of behind the elbow, so your elbow can rest. There's knots on the back of the tricep where you want to be able to sweep your elbow into the floor behind you and rotate your ribs out to the left on here. So again, right elbow is going into the floor, ribs are going in the opposite direction. On there, you can rest your left arm behind you for more extension. And press back into your hand support with your head. Turn those muscles off on the front of your neck. And release. Let's slowly rotate around. Bring that left arm over. Roll as far as you can. Bring the left leg over the top and fold. So your elbow is going to be locked. Your arm is going to be locked in between your head and the floor as you twist on there. So you can dig down into the side of your shoulder blade on there. We take just a moment, and I want you to grab onto your elbow. Just stick your thumb right in the crook of your elbow. It fits nicely, and then push the elbow away. Draw the ribs behind you. Breathe and separate. Breathe, feel that burn on the side of the rib cage. Feel those lats on there, nice burn. And release on there. Let's pick that black ball up. Go all the way to the center of your rib cage. And we're gonna roll back down to the bottom for just a second. Take a break. Shake everything out. Check the difference between your legs there. Let's take that routine over to your left side. You haven't even needed that chair so far. Okay, so we're going to take it over to the left hip. We've got that black ball ready to go. And you're going to start with just a little circle, finding that sits bone. Circling around about 3 times in one direction. And then you're going to reverse it. Use your legs to push. Use your torso to move around. And you're searching for something as you move. It's going to kind of catch you. It's going to be a sensation. It's going to feel some sort of feeling of attention grabbing pull on there. And you want to stop there. Investigate it on there. Ask your body what's going on there. So you've got that sits bone pinned down, and we're going to place that left hand on the floor. You're going to tip, cracking your neck as you go. Tip away from that sits bone, away from your issue on there. We're going to grab that black ball, and you're going to let your knee fall to the outside. Oh, you didn't use the ball there. We're just going to pin down with your hand as you lift and twist and turn. So you can use 3 different points of attempt here. Your arm, your shoulder, everything is going down towards the floor. The spine is extending, spreading, ribs are spreading. You're using your head to reach away, and then we're getting extra leverage with that leg down below. And breathe. And release. And we're going to go back to those circles. Back up here just a little bit so we can get this mirror shot. So you're on your sits bone, and we're going to find that hamstring connection. Circle around, pin it down on there. Now we're going to lean forward with the torso. Weight, gravity, and control is out front. Foot stays planted on the ground. Knee straightens. Your butt is going to come back. Eventually, your toes will rock upwards. And now you're out in front of the sits bone. We're going to do a little left to right movement across those hamstrings on there. Feel the structure. Feel the response as you take your weight and roll through that musculature. There's going to be these little zappy aches and pulls that show up. That's the information that you're interested in. That's where you're stuck on there. So now we're going to bring that all the way. Your body is going to shift to the right. Ball is to the outside of the thigh on there. See that little lift? It's pulling up on the edge of your quadricep muscle on there. Slowly reach both hands over to the left-hand side. Start to turn your torso. Your leg is locked. You're rotating. The pinky side of your foot is going to come down. You're going to turn your hips. You're going to turn your ribs. You're going to pull everything up, out, extend. Actively reach out through your foot on there. Try and push the earth down. Lift and separate at the pelvis. Breathe, press, rotate. Feel like the ribs are lifting away from your hip. The earth can gently grab onto keep a little friction on your toes, almost like you're trying to slide out of a pant leg while somebody holds onto your foot on there. All right, release, slowly settle the weight, come back over. It's going to be a little more intense as you hit the back of that hamstring on there, and you're going to go back to the left and right, cross over that hamstring. And now we're going to go for the inside. So bring it to the contact point where your pelvis and your leg meet, and then you're going to swing that left leg out just a little bit more. On there. So that, now, these are your two knee options. You can keep your knee up in the air, or if you feel like you want to do a hurdle or stretch kind of move, you can also do that. Depends on how comfortable your knee feels on there. You can even do it out straight if it bothers you that much on there. But now we're going to, sweep that thigh out to the side on there, and you're going to hit a resistance point on there. And I want you to feel your body, feel it hit that resistance point. Your brain, the sensation connects to a very clear line location in your leg. I want you to reach down with a couple of hands. Find two of those points. Compare and contrast the texture that's in there. Notice how the stuff up in the upper leg is probably quite a bit more aggravated, probably quite a bit more sore, feels on the edge of ripping. The pieces in your lower leg might feel like they're buried a little bit further, deeper in, closer to the bone. And there, explore these things, get to know them. That information, as you lean into it and hold, I want you to think about twisting, tipping the chest forward, pulling your hips behind you, pushing your leg ever so slightly forward. Really pull those toes back, engage the quad, turn those hamstring off, breathe. So as you're doing this, you notice things in your back muscles. Do you start to get some sensations kicking in, little crampy bits on there? Pay attention to that. That crampy bit right there, as you are leaning into that stretch, is showing you when you are the ways, the muscles that are kicking in to take you beyond the points that don't have enough flexibility to move on there. Your back muscles engage, shift your load up above, around, so that you don't walk through a point that's going to rip apart on your inner thigh. It's an amazing system on there. But by challenging those points on the inner thigh where you know there's danger, you know it's on the verge of ripping, the response that you get back here, these muscles, tells you where you're going to go look. Which I think about where we're going to be working soon up there at the top on there. So we're going to back. We're going to add one more factor in here. We're going to take that black ball and slide it underneath that tightest line on there. Again, you can stabilize with one or two hands at your leg. You can hang on to the ball for stability. We're going to add in a foot circle on there. So as you circle your toes, again, notice the line that you were just holding on to. Hold on to it with fingers on there. At the point where they start working together on there, maybe you start getting, I'm just getting a little bit of Elvis leg that's starting to go on with myself here. It's starting to shake, it's starting to quiver, going to a little dance on there. And all that shaking is information coming out of my brain, making specific cells contract in order to break themselves free in an effort to repair, in an effort to get to full functionality on there. All right, last couple of ankle circles. Really push that line. See if you can twist your torso. Pull that toe. Pull your leg out. Last couple of deep breaths. Start feeling the stuff that's prepare for what's going to be going on in your back on there. All right, we're going to release. Pull that black ball out. Bend your knee just slightly and bring that ball back underneath your pelvis. Just a nice couple easy moves there. Give that leg a break. And then we're going to back it up one more time. Leg straightens, your butt is hanging out behind the ball. We're going to dig in and pick up as much of that glute max muscle as you can with your middle forefinger. You're going to get a nice scoop and lift. And then heel stays planted. It does not move. The knee bends. Your entire body is dragged forward. Your fingers are going to get stuck between your butt and the ball, and you're going to pull them out. And you have this nice grip on here. You are holding up that glute max muscle. You are digging underneath it, behind it. Breathe down into that space and tip away. Tip away. And as you search on there, open it up. There, you're going to expose something, hopefully, that talks you all the way from the butt up to the base of your neck and up to the base of your skull. You can follow that entire line. We're going to add in this black ball just barely in front of the sits bone so that you have a little space in between the two balls. They're not rubbing against each other, but they are gripped in on both sides of your sits bone. And that's going to let you get deeper into that. More extension with the spine. Sink the pelvis down. Work with your knee when you've got a sufficient stretch going on. We're going to grab the outside of your left knee with your right hand as you twist and rotate. You can create resistance between your hand and the knee. That's going to engage musculature inside of the pelvis. You can go the other direction, squeezing in, across your hand, whatever gets you the release. And really notice the relationship at the musculature line up here at the bottom of those fixed ribs on here. That piece that you're working on, notice how it's buried deep inside of the column of your torso. The other stuff that's speaking to you is much more superficial. It feels like it's just below the skin, none of that same structure or location. All right, let's pull that black ball out for just a second. Circle around, and then we're gonna roll forward. Find the back of your pelvis and all the way up to the top of the pelvic crest. And then you're gonna start a side to side sweep. First finding the spine and then out onto the pelvic crest. And then as you're going to take it further and further out to the side. And we're going to come down into the elbow, and you're going to have your extra black ball ready here. So as you search all the way around to the front, you're looking for your own particular location somewhere along that crest on there. Somewhere it's going to sing a little bit louder on there. Pin it down, hold it down, and then just below, just above your kneecap, anywhere in that first 3 or 4 inches above the knee joint, I want you to rest that ball. If you find that you picked a spot in your IT band in the middle and it's, wow, can't handle that, go somewhere else. Or you can pull it up really high at the pelvis, that'll support also. Try for the knee, it'll give you more mobility. I want you to be able to pivot, pull your pelvis behind you. You're drawing the ribs open, spreading them out by backing your butt up on there. Rest both knees on top of each other so that the legs can be a nice anchor. Breathe, push down into the floor. Actively separate the upper part of the rib cage. And then we're going to slowly, heavily cut back on there. As you're coming around, pull that black ball out, really cut down into that sacroiliac joint as you come back across the top of the pelvic crust on there. And then we're going to climb up just above that into the nice hammock of the floating ribs on there. So just below, you're going to feel that nice firm line of the pelvic crest. And then as you climb up a little higher, you're going to feel that just a little soft give of the floating ribs. And then that backstop of support in those fixed ribs on there. So you really want to investigate that hammock on there. Again, just a little turn here because there's not much to work with on there. Pin down the spot, and then you're going to pick your pelvis up, tuck this on the outside, just underneath the top of the greater trochanter. I'm sorry, that's not right. Breathe into that. Sink down on there. Bring this just to the outside of your knee, and we're going to bring both knees down and twist and softly open that space up between. So as you turn, you're actually pulling the floating ribs up away from your pelvic crest. You're drawing all of the fixed ribs up and away from your pelvis. Your knees are sinking down, so your legs are engaged and locked at the floor. And you're breathing to separate. Imagine that somebody could hold on to your legs like one of those, the way people used to do sit-ups on there, hold on to your knees, and you could crawl out of your body. Like you could exit both pant legs at the same time because you're holding yourself down from below. Create something that you can't normally do when you're standing up with gravity. That's what we're looking for. All right, we're going to pick that black ball up, bring it back around to the back of the spine, and we're going to climb up onto those fixed ribs on here. A little clothing readjustment. So as you find those fixed ribs, we're going to sink down, and I want you to feel like you snuggle up against that curl of musculature just along your spine. It's going to feel like a curve. The spine is going to be in further, and the ball is going to feel like it's pushing a bigger and bigger curve of muscle closer and closer to your spine. And you're really trying to cut it free from the bone structure underneath on there. Get that very supported. You're definitely not on those floating ribs, and you are below your shoulder blade. You should be able to move your shoulder blade around, and it's outside of the ball, above its upper boundary on there. Pin down the spot that you want to work with on there, and this time you're going to pick your pelvis up and put it right on the outside of the pelvis and the hip. So as you go towards your head, the black ball is going to roll down and hit the top of the femur head and the trochanter. You're going to be able to push it out of your leg, drawing your ribs up at the same time. Then you can ride the balls back up to the top of the pelvic crest. That's as high as you're ever going to go with that black ball. And then up into the ribs. And travel back down. And once again, think about the shape of the pelvic crest on there as you go up and down that sweep. See if you can go all the way to the back of the sacrum. And as far around to the front as you can go. Find that front leading edge of your pelvis on there. Up and down. We're going to travel back towards the sacrum. So your belly button is going to go up towards the ceiling. And when you find that that ball is right next to your sacrum, we're going to pop that left foot up on top of your right knee and hang out there. Now, if you want to, you can put a support behind your head with your right hand. Breathe into that. You can intensify the stretch. If you don't need the next part, reach down, grab your knee, pull it in towards your body as you twist your ribs and elongate. Breathe into that. And we're going to slowly release. Bring that foot down. Take the black ball out. And we're going to roll that ball up to the side of your shoulder blade on there. So as you roll up from, you're going to end up on the outside edge of that left shoulder blade. It should be very easy to distinguish where you are. And then we're going to look for something in the triceps muscle that's talking to you. So your head support, we're going to pick that arm up, and as you move it around, again, find that place that brings you to a halt. It's going to be a sensation. Hold it there. You're interested in that sensation. You're going to bring that black ball to meet that area of sensation, and then you're going to drop the arm down. So you will have pinned a lumpy, chunky bit somewhere in that tricep muscle on there. Get a nice grip on it. We're going to squeeze down with the elbow and pull the rib cage away from separate and elongate. Draw everything down. And let it relax. Breathe into that. Change your angle just a little bit. Squeeze down with the left elbow. Pull your ribs, your pelvis away from that elbow. Notice where it feels stuck. Notice where, again, where it starts to ache, maybe in the back muscles on there. And breathe. And relax. And we're going to rotate. Roll that ball around. This black ball is going to end up behind your elbow so that you can sweep the elbow behind you into the floor. Rotate your ribs to the right on there. Reach your right arm over your body. And press back with your head into the support hand. This is really key here to get your front neck muscles. A lot of us, we have a tendency to, everything curls forward right here. If you press back into the support hand, you're going to have to cut power to everything. Open up those shoulder blades in both directions. Both arms are reaching towards the floor, to the outsides of your body. Really deep breaths. Breathe to those lower abdominal muscles. And let everything relax on there. We're going to slowly bring that around. So your elbow is staying in place. So that ball is behind the elbow joint, not along the side. It's going to stay locked down. In fact, if you want to, as you come over, set your left thumb on the bend of your, set your right thumb on the bend of your left elbow on there, and then rotate in that direction. So you're ever so slightly tractioning your arm out of the socket as you rotate and pull that shoulder blade away. You can dig into places that start talking above your ear or at the base of your skull with that support hand. Breathe and twist. And do some resistance moves with that elbow and arm. Dig into the teres minor, where latissimus comes around, that big patch on there. Dig down into that stuff. Try and pull the top of your pelvis where latissimus begins away from the point where it's pinned, stuck, and adhered. And we're going to release. Pull that black ball out. Now this time, roll that silver ball around to the center of the shoulder blades. Hold on just a second here. Notifications. So we're going to end up right at the in between the two shoulder blades. Take your black ball and pin it right below your sacrum. Squeeze the shoulder blades together so you can lower your head towards the floor. On your interlaced fingers, reach your tailbone for the ground in the opposite direction. So you're pressing back with your head, reaching the hips down towards the floor. And then relax. Fold your elbows up towards the ceiling. Roll, touch the silver ball at the top corners of your shoulder blades. The black ball is going to roll up into the pocket at your lower back. On there, open your elbows. Let your head rest against the interlaced fingers, against the silver ball. Shrug your shoulder blades up and then lift your pelvis. Take it away from the shoulder blade points. On there. You're trying to reach those elbows, shoulder blades, and draw the entire torso down away. Now see if you can sweep your hips from side to side. You're off the black ball. We're going to set back down slowly. That black ball should still just fit in the curve of your spine. We're going to take that ball out for just a moment, get it out of the way, and then replace that silver ball. Just get it up so that all of the clothing and hair are out clear of your neck, and you can just rest all of your neck vertebrae on that ball. I'm going to take the black ball at the front. Breathe into that. You're going to take that ball in your right hand, put it on the right side of your head, turn your head to the right. Nice. Lift and stretch. You're lifting up on your temple as you rotate, and then relax it back to the center. Switch hands, take it to the left-hand side, turn your face to the left. Breathe and lift into your temple. And we're going to relax on there. Now take that black ball, put it right at the center of your eyebrows. Press in and lift. Lift gently with both thumbs. Press back with your head. Arch your chin back. Lengthen once. And then we're going to release. Just set that ball to the side for just a moment. On there. Then just check over your head. Make sure you got enough room. Maybe you can feel with your hands. We're going to do a single spinal roll down. Walk your feet in tight to your hips. Bring your fingers to each side of your head so you're ready to interlace your fingers. Push off once. Straighten your legs. Interlace your fingers together behind your head. Go straight. Flex the ankles up. And rest in upward plank for just a moment. And notice where the ball lands, just at the bottom of your diaphragm. And breathe. We're going to slowly set the pelvis down, feel the angle, bring the arms forward, and curl forward for your best sit-up on there. Okay, let's change this angle a little bit on there and do some neck work on the wall. Bring this around. Lift me up just a little bit. Okay, great. So you're going to find a piece of wall to work with on here that we can do some neck stretches on here. If you've got a corner to work with, like I do right here, this is the best spot on there, but any flat piece of wall is going to work for this one on there. Bring your chair over so that you can keep it about an arm's distance away from you and the wall on there for some support. And you can use it to Hold your ball. Okay, so we're gonna put the silver ball on the outside of your neck, on the right in that nice curve at the top of the musculature. On there. We're gonna bend your knees before you lean into the wall and pin that. A little up and down roll. So as you stand up, your shoulder blade is gonna get pushed down. You're gonna be able to lift your head up. On there, lengthen. I want you to pause, really see if you can find that front line of your trapezius muscle. You're going to know you're there. If you back up, it's going to feel like the ball actually rolls out in front on there. I want you to see if you can find a nice birdy spot that you can hang out on and really breathe into that for just a moment on there. We're going to reach up with that black ball, and you're going to put it. As you reach down with your arm and shoulder, you're just going to barely rest your head against that ball. You're going to keep it stabilized with the other hand so it doesn't go anywhere. Continue to lower your shoulder as you press in with your head to the ball. So your head is pressing into the wall here. Your shoulder blade is coming down. Your body is pushing you into the silver ball. Lengthening. All right, we're going to release, take the black ball out, go back to the up and down move on the top of the shoulder, pivot out into the room just a little bit, and you're going to find that the top of your shoulder blade in the back, there's a little shelf for you on there. There's a little bone shelf that sticks out, and then there's a whole curve of muscle over the top. You're going to pin it there. This time, you're going to bring your elbow out and place this ball right at the bend of your elbow. So you should be able to climb up. We're sweeping the wall away out to the left, and there, climbing up out of your left shoulder. Breathe into that. You can experiment just a little bit here. Move your head to get free of the ball. If you really notice some burning points, you can take a couple fingers, pin that down while you're working that line. The key here is the constant sweep out to the left with that arm and shoulder. Pin down a nice part at the top of there and rotate the rib cage away from your left elbow. Pivot and turn. Really, what we're doing is we're working the serratus anterior muscle, getting it to turn off. All right, let's release there, pull that black ball out, sink down. Just fluff that up for just a moment. Now, we're going to reset. You're going to take the ball and you're going to tuck it right up at the base of your skull. Bend those knees, pin it to the wall, and then you're going to be able to support both hands and just pin that ball for just a moment so that you can massage the base of your skull. Just a very slow pivot from side to side and stop somewhere where you get a nice sensation that kicks in and really drop down into some pull. You can use both hands. Imagine you're trying to walk out of the helmet. I'm there. You're trying to pull your spine down out of the helmet. Listen for information coming from your hips and your legs on there. All right, let's take a little break with that. Shake out your shoulders on there. Maybe take a look at yourself and see if you have a different elevation on your shoulders. Hard to see from this angle. And then we're going to try and do this on the other side. Let's see. Put it from here. So ball goes on the other side, right side of the shoulder blade. You're going to turn into the wall. I'm just going to put my body on the camera on there. On there. Nope. So pin into the wall, up and down very slowly. As you go up and down. So you're going to find that spot, pin it down. So as you stand up, your shoulder blade is going to be pushed down. you're going to look for a nice tight line. And then you're going to take that black ball and pin at your elbow. Let me do this way. There you go. Pin your elbow. So as you're sweeping the wall away with your elbow on there, you're continuing to stand up on here. I'm just going to do it from the side on here so you can just see what I'm doing. More time. So sweep the wall away as you stand up, and then look for that tight area. Twist the rib cage out from underneath and extend. And then we're going to take a break, go back to that up and down, and then you're going to move the ball to that further spot in the back. There's going to be a nice little shelf as you come over the back of the shoulder blade. The shoulder blade gets a little wider at that point, and then you should be able to sink down into the top of that. Pin that down as you stand up. And once again, take that black ball out to the elbow. You're going to think about rotating in 3 different directions on there. Your arm is staying with the wall. You're rotating the rib cage away. You're climbing up and out with your body on there, getting that stretch on there. Again, we're trying to disengage the muscles that run from the corner of your shoulder blade is like a fan clamp on there, and it has 10 individual lines of muscle that are all about those with the 2 fingers that come from that shoulder blade out onto your fixed ribs. They spiral over each other under your armpit here. And a lot of the curved over collapse in posture is coming from the interplay of all these muscle strips against the bones on there. Let's take a little break with that, and we're going to bring it up to the base of your skull. So as you pin your head into the wall on there, you can sink down with the rest of your body. Hold it on there. And you guys are pinned up against a wall instead of what I'm doing. Lifting. Search from down below. Again, you're working the base of the skull until you sink down and find a nice line to lower yourself away from. And breathe on here. Figure out some way to incorporate this on here, because this works really pretty well. We can lean that hip in and do a nice cross stretch from the base of your skull out to your hip and pelvis on there. All right, let's release that and take a little break on there. Okay, I'm gonna move a chair to the back here, and let's do a little seated stretches for the so let's take that silver ball, and you're gonna pin at the other side of your bottom of your fixed ribs on your off to the left to begin with on there. So as you roll along the bottom on there, I want you to just find a place that's talking to you a little bit, and you can tip your head away from that line and find a place on the front of your collarbone and rib cage. So our first is going to be where the collarbone and the sternum meet each other. You're going to put the ball there, pull down, and roll slowly all the way about halfway down your rib cage. And you're really concentrating on the rib heads on your. I'm going to move you. Get a little bit better angle here. Ooh, that looks terrible. Okay, so we're pinned at the back of the rib cage on there, and we're coming down from the top of the collarbone, combing, working those rib heads. Come back up to the top. Let's do that one past 3 times. So press down into the earth with that left leg as you climb skywards with the top of your head. One last, make this one just a little wider out to the left. Comb and stretch on there. Let's release. Now, your whole body is going to move to the right just a little bit. So that silver ball is going to come out just a little wider, and we're going to make the next pass now just before the shoulder joint. Pull down with both hands. You're going to get stuck on something just below the collarbone. I want you to hold there. Everybody has just a nice snarl of material there. It is not pleasant. It is very stuck. You're going to pivot and rotate until your left elbow hits the ball. When you reach that point, bring your feet around and use that as a pressure twist on here. You're going to continue to spiral climb your way up the ball. When you cannot rotate anymore, do some slow, expansive movements with your head. Maybe a few circles with your face. Find a nice line to settle in there for a moment. We're going to go to just a one-handed grip with the right hand across to the left hand. Sweep your arm into the chair back. Go low. Climb out of your collarbone. Turn your face as far as you can. Pivot and spiral. The ribs are now going to rotate. They're leaving that arm behind. It's reaching back behind you to the left as you are climbing, almost walking away to the right. Breathe and extend. Work those fingers. When you feel something down your fingertips, nice pull. Lengthen. All right. And we're going to release on there. Shake that out. Let's move that silver ball around to the other side. So follow the line of the bottom of the fixed ribs around. Woo! That's the sore spot. On there all the way to the back and tuck that black ball, the silver ball in to that area. Isn't that a lovely noise on there? So below your shoulder blade point, start with a little search across the zone. Pick a chunk of muscle that's talking to you, especially one as you tip that head over that you can feel that nice pull coming down on there. So we're going to start right where the collarbone and the sternum meet. Grip and comb, pull down, get taller. I'm noticing my heel is all sorts of coming up off the floor. Now this is a big factor with your toes on here. Look for this musculature up here connecting through to the back of the rib cage. It has a lot to do with your happiness of your toes on there. A lot to do with the soreness and the function of your toes. So we make that last third pass down the side, a little bit wider on this last one, lifting your chin, getting longer, and then take a break and release with that. So you're going to move your body to the left just a little tiny bit so that ball stays on the ribs, but it's a little wider. And we're going to start out at the shoulder joint. You're going to come down from the collarbone with a drag curl You're gonna hit a nasty, nasty, lumpy, chunky bit. Everybody's got one. Everybody's got something here. And then we're gonna start to pivot until your right elbow can find that silver ball behind you. Walk your feet around so that you've got a nice twist that's locked in. Now, 3 different directions. Your leg is pushing the earth away below you. Your right elbow is trying to move the world behind you, and you are climbing up out of your leg and that right elbow with your head. Everything will be held. You cannot go anywhere, and all of the force will be applied inside of you. When you get out to the point where you cannot stretch any farther, really look around with your head. Move that great weight of your head around, looking for tight muscles. I can really feel where I didn't stretch the top of my right shoulder blade here on this side. Okay, find a piece where you can just keep your head tipped to the side. You're going to unfurl the right arm very slowly, low. Hit the chair back or the wall behind you, and you're going to pivot out in the opposite direction. Think about drawing your ribs away from your right fingertips. Breathing deeply. Looking for lines. Again, if you feel sensation down into the fingertips, start moving those fingers, curling, waving, weaving, whatever you need to, because that will pull. The moving of those bones is going to drag the lines of tissue, elongate them, begin to soften them. Feel that burn. Notice if your arm leaves the contact point, you're going to get a different stretch. It's going to go deeper, more into the chest wall with that contact point. And let's take a little break with that. Just slide everything to the center of the chair for a moment on there, so that ball is just lined up with the central part of your spine. We're going to do just a few shoulder rows. Maybe you can do them independently of each other. And then we're going to take the arms back behind, reach out, sweep the elbows back, push your feet into the floor. Breathe, thinking about opening up the front line of your body. Arch your spine gently around the ball. Think about climbing over the ball at the top of your head and out from underneath the silver ball. You can do both. Listen for cramps along the musculature on either side of the spine. You are interested in those. Let them run their course. All right. Breathe. Bring those arms down on there. So we're going to move that silver ball up just a little bit so that it is, let's go to the right side. So find the bottom corner of your shoulder blade so you can kind of pin your right shoulder blade down with that ball, and then you're going to brace your right palm against your leg on here. Not making that lovely noise. So, pinning the right shoulder blade, pressing down with your palm, and then you're going to turn everything in the direction of that silver ball. Listen for a pull. Listen for something running right along the collarbone, and I want you to dig in right there. Try and slide and push that musculature out towards your shoulder joint as you think about sliding in a spiral up out of your right heel and your hip. Breathe on there. If you start to notice things in the thigh, move the heel of your hand into that piece of musculature where you're feeling the cramp or the burn. Doesn't matter. If it starts with a cramp, you're going to feel a burn next. And then find that. It always comes down to the burn. Breathe in there. See if you can move your leg from side to side. What does that do to the musculature running up to your neck and underneath that black ball? Now we're going to turn to the left with your face, with your rib cage. Climb up out of your pelvis. Again, move your hand to where you feel those burny bits. See if you can connect the musculature at the rib all the way down to the thigh. It's wrapping from here and it's re-emerging And these muscles are only functioning when you're seated and when you have these double bends in your body. That's the only way to be able to get to this stuff. And it's going to feel nasty. It's going to feel like a whole lot of burn in the ribs, a whole lot of connection down to the thigh, your instep. All right, let's bring that out. Do a little movement with your arm and shoulder. Reach it across your body and find a point. Look for something in the tricep muscle. Grab onto it with that black ball. Pull your body across. Pull your arm across your body and then try and sweep it back to the right. Relax it. That'll deepen the stretch. Sweep back out like you're going to sweep your arm around to the right, but you're going to stop it with the black ball. Feel the musculature engage from your fingertips all the way through the ribs down to the hip. And release. You should be able to drag that arm a little further, twist and open a little bit more in the rib cage. Come all the way down. And let's collect that silver ball. Roll your shoulders off in just a moment. And you're going to switch the ball to the left-hand side. Pin right at the bottom corner of your left shoulder blade on there. Get a nice grip on that and tip your head away first so you get that nice engaged line of stretch. That's probably going to show you something right there in your thigh, and you're going to push down and lock in. So as you move your head away, you're looking for a line of sensation just below the collarbone that you can press in, shove, lateral. Go for that left shoulder joint. Think about sliding your ribs out to the right, out from inside of your left shoulder. Climb with your head. Work the thigh. See if you can feel there's a whole lot of relationship between these. There's a curve of the upper ribs 2 and 3 down into the pelvis and that upper part of the quadricep sartorius relationship. And breathe. Anchor into something, rotate in the direction of the ball, or you're going to the left. Try and climb in a spiral up and out of your pelvis. The foot is pushing down into the earth. Your left hand is pushing into your thigh. You're elongating, stretching the base of the neck muscles up into those upper ribs. And then we're going to start to pivot away from the silver ball. Turn your face, turn the rib cage, change your pressure point with your left hand if new information comes along, and twist and elongate, twist and elongate. Go for that last birdie bit. Woo! Really see if you can make it pull from deep inside of your left shoulder to the base of your skull. Find that nice scar. Really breathe into it to release. All right, and we're going to let go. Take a little break. Move that arm and shoulder around. Just dance it around. And as you come up in the air, come across the body and then grab onto the area where it talks a little bit harder with the tricep. Now, bring the arm across in a stretch, then create the resistance move. Try and sweep the arm back, engage through the ribs all the way down to the pelvis, nice isometric. And then as you exhale, relax, draw your arm further across, adjust your ball placement. One more isometric, sweep the arm out like you're gonna backhand somebody who's 6.5 feet tall across the face, engage like you've got to swing that arm all the way down to the pelvis and then release. See if you can make yourself longer and bring it down. We're going to center that ball in between the shoulder blades. Bring the black ball behind your head. Interlace your fingers. Press back. Press back with your head. Reach back with your elbows and listen for those cramps at the top of your pelvis. And breathe. We're going to curl the chin down. Keep pressing your head back as you curl the chin down. And then curl up with resistance. And we're going to bring that black ball out on there. Okay, let's go for a stretch into the lower back. We're going to take the silver ball and pull it underneath your thigh. So that's just going to grip your thigh at about the halfway points in the middle of those hamstrings and your adductors on there. We're going to reach across with your right forearm and elbow. Start a twist on there, going to the left on there. So you're grabbing and locking, and I'm getting my arm as close to the elbow as I can for that reach and grip. Listen for some tightness on the left-hand side of your body and slip that black ball into that area and sustain this twist on there. And what I'm really interested in is the relationship of these muscles up to the neck once your leg is out of this equation under. So now once you've got that extra black ball locked in here, you can kind of modify and adjust your twist because you want to climb and separate. Think about freeing up the shoulder blades from the ribs. I want you to press down on your knee as you sit up and climb up over the back of the chair. Breathe into that. Really separate. Really feel it in the strip of the lower rib cage. You can throw in some ankle circles or just a point. If you extend your leg, you're going to add another depth to the stretch. 2 more breath cycles on there. And a slow melt down. We're going to finish it off with just right hand is the inside of the left knee. We're going to grab onto the chair bottom, create a resistance move. You're coming to the right with your left knee. Tip and twist away from that left hand. So you can really make your inner thigh burn on there. Almost like you're about to tip sideways. You can reach your foot out a little bit to change that angle. Climb up out of your own pelvis and relax. Pull that ball out from the back, pull the silver ball out, shake that whole thing out and see how that feels. Whew. Feel your legs, feel your breath. Maybe stand up and take a lap with that one. So we're going to pin and twist on here. Right leg, lift up your leg so your butt is still essentially sits bone is in contact with the chair, and you just brought that far enough under your thigh that just gives you a nice grip on there. You're going to rotate towards the silver ball, towards the right. Reach your left arm over for the grasp and the hold, and tip. Listen for a tight area along your back on there, and pin on there. You could do this with a bench against the wall. If you don't have a chair back like this, that's a modification for it. So once you get yourself, now we're going to rotate. We're locking down that arm, and you're using your head. Notice my shoulders are shrugging, trying to keep those down. Under. As I pull them down, there is a different sensation. Try and relax and soften your leg. It does not have to hold you up. You want to give it a break. You want to tip and pull your way out of there as you reach the elbows down. Think about spreading and elongating the rib structure over the ball in the back. And we're really looking for muscles that have a long swath of existence on the side of your neck. You can feel them with your fingertips when your head is tipped over. You can kind of walk on them like tight ropes on there. All that tautness is protecting very sensitive, blood-filled, nerve-filled tubes that are underneath on there. That's the way that you protect it. It's sort of a hardened carapace as you spread out, twist and open on there. Start climbing, push down with your right hand onto your thigh as you create resistance across the knee. Figure out how to pry things apart from the center of your body on there. Pulling your hip down out from underneath your top ribs, 2, 3, 4, way up high, and breathe. Find a nice line that you want to work with. Add a slow leg extension. Woo! Does that take it up to a whole nother level? Do you get all sorts of Elvis shake going on? And breathe. And we're going to sink that one down. You're going to turn forward just a little bit, and you're going to create a resistance move in the opposite. So the right knee is coming to the left. You're resisting with the hand, and then the right hand anchors at the bottom of the chair. Climb up out of your pelvis. Climb up out of your piriformis muscle. This is going to turn off anything that is gripping on that piriformis muscle that could possibly be entrapping your sciatic nerve. It is all going to go still at this point. If you can do that isometric with your right knee into your left hand. Separate. Feel that deep mass of weave that pulls your body down towards your feet, curls you into yourself and forward. And release on there. Let's take that one out for just a moment. Stand up and work next to your chair for a moment on here. I want everyone to stand. We're going to use the chair like a ballet bar in front. We're going to point the right toe so that you're barely up on the tip of your toes, and then lift your chest and look for a little spot that's going to burn at your hips. I want you to push down and back with your hand as you lift and twist away, and look for, there's just going to be a very interesting burning sensation at the hips. We're going to very slowly sink back into the toes, sink back with your heel. You're going to start creating a calf stretch as you reach that heel down towards the ground. Feel the ache go away in the hip. Feel there's an ache that's now going to show up in your calf muscle on there. We're going to come up out of the calf muscle, lift and pull forward, get to the tips of the toes, like you're about to move left on there, and wait for that ache to come back. Find that, and then see if you can follow that ache up to a spot at the bottom of your rib cage, and then from there up to a place at the top of your collarbone, and you're going to stretch. Now, this is a really good one to do with a wall or a door frame. You can pin, you'll see it from this angle, you can pin your chest and walk past the wall. We're done doing the other side now, but we're just going to do this freestanding. So pushing down with the hand, pointing the toe, rolling up and away, like you're going to, a little polishing a surface behind you. Feel that tug. And we're going to release. Take a moment, feel the difference there. It's going to feel kind of strange about how you're loading into your feet and the outside of your leg. All right, so the other side, you're going to go toe point. Press down and away with your hands. Tip your head back. Just start with the balance and you're using the share to begin with. And then sink back. So the tip of your toe is on the floor. As you roll down into the toes, reaching the heel back behind you. Feel the change at the outside of the hip. There's going to be a transition point where it really stops in the hip and it really picks up in the calf muscle. Extending. Then shift back. Rib cage goes forward. Heel picks up. Lifting and pressing until you get back to the toe point. Returning slightly to the right. And then we're going to bring that arm up. Try and balance. Do a little polishing here. You can rest your hip against the chair back for a little extra balance on the side to keep you from tipping over. But feel that relationship from the hip to the ribs to the musculature going up into your neck. It's all making your toes hurt. And then we're going to release and take a walk with that. All right. And let's finish up here with a final spinal roll. I think I'm going to go back to this other elevation. Okay. We're going to sit up, pull the ball into the base of your spine, lean back, press yourself back up. We're going to keep that black ball close by. And there, find that sacrum. Just do a little side to side sweep across the sacrum. On there. We're going to climb up. Imagine like you're coloring in the triangle from the tip point at the bottom up to the wide top. Then you're going to go all the way into a big sweep across the pelvic crust. We're going to stop right at the sacrum, sink in and pin that down. We're going to slip that black ball in between your knees. Let's do a squeeze in between your knees. Extend and lift the ribs out away from the pelvis. Try to keep those sits bones down on the ground. Lift your chin, pull the shoulder blades back. And release. Sink back. Take the black ball out. And there, we're going to pick the hips up, roll into the base of the lower spine, and then find those fixed ribs, one on each side. Interlace your fingers behind your head. Shift your hips to the left. Reach your right arm over your head. Press and twist and roll. Lengthen the bottom of that rib cage one last time on the right. And then we're going to come back. Center yourself for a moment at the bottom of your rib cage, the bottom of the fixed ribs. And then shift your body to the right. Extend your left arm over your head. And twist. And breathe. And rotate. Elongate, open everything up with your breath. And then we're going to slowly come back to the center. Arrive back at the center. Take a moment there. See if it feels the next patch. Kind of take a look at it before you arrive there. What's it looking like? Is one side going to be a little tighter than the other? Deep breath in. Exhale, press back with your ribs, center of the spine. Pick your pelvis up. Slow, heavy, sustained roll. A lot of pressure back. A lot of drag from the hips. Find the bottom corners of your shoulder blade and then come back down. straighten your legs as much as possible. We're going to do a chair. And then all the way back up to the bottom corners of your shoulder blades. And let's rest there. Squeeze the bottom shoulders, the corners down towards your hips, not around to the back. Straight down towards the top of your pelvis. And then do a knuckle cracking over the top of the head. And we're going to come back to interlace on there. Move it up to the center. Exhale, sink down, hold the elbows up, and then center the silver ball right between your shoulder blades. We're going to shift to the left, grab your right elbow with your left hand, and bear down to the inside corner of your shoulder blade. Really open that up, push with both feet, and breathe, and then release. Come back to center, do that on the left. Tip over, grab your left elbow with your right hand, press with your feet, scrape your shoulder blade away from your spine. Deep breath, and release. Come back to the center. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, get very heavy. Bring your head, curve it back, shrug the shoulders, pick your pelvis up. We're going to clear the hair as you roll up into the back of your neck. Just hold your hair up. Grip lightly right behind, behind the fold of your ear with your thumbs. Just grab your head right there. Reach the shoulder blades and the elbows back for the floor. Flatten the back of your neck against the ball for just a moment. Couple of breaths trying to flatten your spine into the floor. And then we're going to release. Relax your elbows. Walk your feet in tight. Push off with your feet. Interlace your fingers behind your head. Try to straighten your legs without running into a chair like I'm going to. On there. You can go to upward plank. On there. Hold for just a moment. And then set your pelvis down. Reach your arms forward. And do your best sit up. All right. Thank you so much. On there. We'll do this again soon. On there. And I'll be... there's going to be an email coming out in the next 2 days about more classes and some other platforms I'm going to be on, namely Zoom. All right, thanks to everybody out there, and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.